apologize.
It's okay. People are hungry.
I guess.
Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome to the regular school committee meeting of Monday, May 8th, 2017. This is your notice that this meeting is being electronically recorded. At this time, we're going to take a recess of approximately 15 minutes. We have presentations from our food service vendors' proposals. And so the committee and our audience is welcome to go and sample the food and discuss the presentations with the people out in the hallways. And we will reconvene at approximately 6:45 for the rest of our meeting. All right.
flip-flop stuck to my shoe.
Not yet, let him in. Yes.
Yes.
I'll give me that.
I'll give
What do you
you
want to
that.
give me?
I'm gonna,
All right, thank you. We are back, and thank you to Whitson's and Sodexo for feeding us all, including those in the audience who partook. It was delicious. If you notice any stains on anyone's shirt, don't hold it against them. We ate. We stood as we ate. We're going to turn it over at this point to an exciting event on our agenda, and that is a spotlight event for ACEPAC, the Attleboro Special Education Parental Advisory Commission?
No.
Committee.
Council.
Council. I knew it was one of those C's.
yeah.
They're here for a spotlight event as well as to give out some awards and recognitions tonight. So at this point, I will turn it over to co-chairs Angela Ferrara and Susan Akel.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we'll go to the next one soon.
Why isn't it changing?
I just wanted to say a little word about who we are at ACEPAC. Oftentimes you see the same faces when we come here into the committee room year after year, but it's important for you to know we represent so many families, students, and staff in the district. ACEPAC works to affirm the families and students who may struggle with disabilities. We believe in their abilities. We're here to educate, empower, and encourage families and staff in our school district. We celebrate achievements and progress. We strive to raise expectations for those working with students receiving special education support services, and we appreciate those who make a difference in the lives of these students. Our Buddy Bench project is coming complete this year. There are currently 6 buddy benches in our school district. Willett received the first bench. Thatcher has 3 playgrounds and a bench on each playground. Hyman Fine has a bench. Studley has a bench in the hospital at the moment. It had an accident with a plow. And the 7th and final buddy bench will be dedicated on Saturday, June 3rd at Hill Roberts. At each buddy bench dedication, we talk about how the idea came to ACEPAC and how it's grown from an idea to the realization of having the bench on the playground. Today, we're proud to be recognizing such an important part of the Buddy Bench project. We're fortunate to have worked with the CTE students and the staff in the CTE for the manufacturing of these benches. It has made this project so much more meaningful, and it's given us a unique and impactful experiential learning opportunity. Mr. Bodge and his class of juniors were amazing to work with this year. They gave ACEPAC officers a tour of the manufacturing process, and they were so great to us. What stood out during our tour to us is what kind and respectful young men they are. It was clear to us that they understood the Buddy Bench project and how impactful it is. So it's my pleasure to share with you the names of all the students who helped complete our Buddy Bench project, and we extend our sincere appreciation to them for sharing their talent with our Buddy Bench project. Did you want to go ahead and...
Sure, and the school committee. The school committee and the school administration shares the thanks for the students who helped with this Buddy Bench project. It certainly was a a worthwhile and impressive project, both for what it accomplished in the elementary schools and bringing the CTE students into the mix in preparing the benches. And so the school, I do have a certificate of commendation to read tonight that we're giving to all these students displayed on the screen there who helped in this process. And that citation reads, "The Attleboro School Committee hereby extends its appreciation and sincere gratitude to the student for assisting with the completion of the Buddy Bench project. This endeavor has created a welcoming and safe atmosphere for our students." Signed, Stephen K. Withers, Jr., Chairman, May 8th, 2017.
Great, thank you. I'm going to present that now. Mr. Bodge, do you want to call out the names of the fellows that are here? Because I'm not sure who's here and who's not.
We have James Cameron. Kyle's working. Cameron Johnson. Edwin's working. Aaron's working. And Victor's working.
Great crowd.
Cody Morone. Dalton's working. Jake Beret. I'll give them tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go away yet. There's one more person we want to recognize for the Buddy Bench. It's my great pleasure to extend our sincere thanks to Mr. Bodge. We want to thank you for your tremendous support in the Buddy Bench project. From the first bench, when you actually paid for some of the materials out of your own pocket, for not laughing at me when I came back to you and told you we needed 6 more benches, please. For answering endless email questions from me, for the tour that you gave to all of the ACEPAC officers of your welding shop, and for inspiring your students to build and create something so meaningful to our school community. I'd like to share a quote that I read, I think that epitomizes the Buddy Bench project so well. It's from Abraham Lincoln. "Teach the children so it will not be necessary to teach the adults." Thank you for giving us the tool to teach the kids in Attleboro. We appreciate it so much.
I'm a little flustered. It was a great project. You know, we did a lot of good. The kids knew all along. And we had tough days and we had easy days, and they stayed with it. You know, they're great kids. Couldn't ask for better. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The school committee and the administration also has a certificate for you for your help with this project, and it reads, "The Attleboro School Committee hereby extends its appreciation and sincere gratitude to Tom Bodge for overseeing the completion of the Buddy Bench project. This endeavor has created a welcoming and safe atmosphere for our students." Signed, Stephen K. Withers, Jr., Chairman, May 8th, 2017.
Yes. Now we just want to move on into our first of many Make a Difference Award recognition program. We launched this program on April 10th online and closed on April 23rd. People were able to go online and submit a nomination. We'd like a special thanks to go out to Heidi Harris and Jonathan Plord for allowing the online platform for this. It really made it easy to collect nominations. We had 36 submissions. Some of our nominees received multiple nominations, and some of the people who were nominated people. We selected 6 recipients, 3 students, a teacher, a coach, and a pillar in the community for Special Olympics. Developing the recognition program is our way of highlighting just some of the amazing people who've made a positive impact in our schools and in our community. ACEPAC would like to thank the school administration and the school committee for supporting us and helping us launch this. We're very excited to bring forward this recognition because when you make a difference in the life of a student with a disability, you make an impact on many other people as well. It's important to note the people who receive multiple nominations, we feel, have really made an impact on many people. This recognition program highlights what we've known all along but wanted to bring some special attention to. We have some amazing people in our schools and in our community who make Attleboro a wonderful place to live and raise a family. While we're unable to award everyone who was nominated, we'd like to extend our congratulations to each nominee. And these are all the people who received nominations. We were overwhelmed. We want to thank all the people who took the time to submit a nomination. We read some wonderful nominations. I'll tell you, we were weeping over some of them. They were just beautiful. I don't know if I should read them or if we just want to take a look at the screen. Michelle Amorum, Meredith Bombardier, Chloe Boss, Matthew Callahan, Hannah Clark, Carrie Delpap, Stephanie Delp, Kristen Devoya, thank you, I never say her name right, Joanne De Palma, Sarah Faulkner, Paula Garland, Lynn Gorman, Becky Hosley, Wanda Hanson, Karen Heller, Mark Homer, Jane Howes, Teresa Hughes, Melissa Joss, Jennifer Massey, Yvonne Medeiros, Lauren Mulready, Stephanie Purchase, Hadley Perica, Lori Santarpario, Karen Spina, Dr. Fred Souza, Kelly St. Pierre, Patricia Thomas Felici, Timothy Trout Savino, and Amanda Weeman. And from that list, the ACEPAC officers chose these 6 recipients. They have made a significant impact in our schools and in our community, and we want to recognize and thank them for their kindness, compassion, and dedication. We will have Mr. Withers, if you want to read your citation, and then I have a little something to say about each recipient.
Sure. So the school committee extends its warm thanks and congratulations to the 6 award recipients and has a certificate for each. A 2017 ACEPAC Make a Difference Award Certificate. The Attleboro School Committee would like to recognize and extend its sincere gratitude to Chloe Boss, Matthew Callahan, Karen Heller, Mark Homer, Hadley Perica, and Karen Spina for making a positive impact in the life of our students with disabilities. We commend you for your kindness, support, and dedication. Signed, Stephen K. Withers, Jr., Chairman, May 8th, 2017.
So Karen Heller is our first recipient. Karen is a special educator who not only has spent her life's work teaching students with disabilities, she's also dedicated countless volunteer hours running the Heller's Angels Special Olympics team. She offers so much of her time organizing practices for multiple sports, recruiting coaches, and attending almost every practice and game. She has devoted so much of her time and talent to Special Olympics for so many years. Her commitment has given many of our students and disabled adults in our community the opportunity to participate and compete in athletics. Karen has made a difference for so many families with her devotion to the Special Olympics, and we are so grateful to present her with the Make a Difference Award. Mark Homer, who I had the pleasure of meeting for the first time this evening. We were so inspired to learn that Mr. Homer has made an impact not only as a softball coach, but by also carrying words of praise and success to his classroom. By encouraging and celebrating small successes with his team, he made an important impact on a student. Often simple words of unexpected praise is something that can make a deep and significant impact on a student. We thank you, Mr. Homer, and we're pleased to present you with the Make a Difference Award.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Karen Spina is a truly passionate and dedicated teacher who is deeply admired and loved by those who know her. She believes in individualizing instruction. She follows the I in the IEP. She always puts students first when making decisions. She believes in their potential, and that belief allows her students to meet their potential. She pushes for inclusion opportunities both within the school environment and in our community. She makes a difference every day. We're so happy to present Karen Spina with the Make a Difference Award.
Spina.
Is she here? She's here. Hadley Parika inspired us because she doesn't see disability. She just accepts and embraces everyone she meets. Her involvement in the Special Olympic Day Games, Best Buddies, and Project Unite shows such dedication to our community. She has made an impact in the lives of so many, and we are thrilled to know that she will one day impact even more families as a special educator. Let's hope she comes back to Attleboro after she's done with college. We wish Hadley all the best as she pursues her special education degree at UMaine. We're pleased to present you with the Make a Difference Award.
No, I'm good.
I also had the pleasure to meet tonight Chloe Boss. We were so inspired by Chloe's nomination. She has shown at the tender age of 9 what it is to be a role model. She demonstrates how to be a friend to everyone, both at school and outside of school. Thank you, Chloe, for being the kind of friend who makes a difference. We're delighted to present Chloe with the Make a Difference Award. Matthew Callahan is another outstanding example of a role model. Matthew goes to a 4th grade class at Willett Elementary School daily and has made a significant impact on one of the students there. He has served almost as a big brother role and has motivated the students he has worked with. Matthew and his parents have also shared his high school experience with incoming 8th grade families at an information event. Just by sharing his personal experience, he has made an impact and offered hope to families who worry about the high school experience for their children. We want to wish Matthew all the best as he goes off to play baseball for Dean College in the fall, and we thank you for making a difference here in Attleboro. It is our pleasure to present you with the Make a Difference Award. And that is the end of our ACEPAC Recognition Award Program for this year, and we look forward to many more nominations next year. And thank you for the opportunity to present tonight.
Thank you very much, and I echo your sentiments. Look forward to this again next year and the years following. This was a great event recognizing a lot of the special contributions made by different individuals in our school district. So thank you for putting this together. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Turn it down, turn it off, or? We're done.
I think we're still in second.
That's an ad girls right there. We grow
Making
good
good
on
TV.
Dustin Avenue.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna do that again. We're gonna put stakes around buddy benches. Oh, this says it doesn't have to stick together.
Okay.
We could do that though, right? Put stakes where they are.
Food service provider was prior to Whitman's. Food service provider prior to Whitman's.
Aramac.
Oh, was it?
For 26 years. I like that. Thank you. Very, very, very old school. Like Wall Street. They were devastated when they take those signs down.
I thank you. Very grateful. As I am, but we have one brand new
Back to our empty room.
I like the really did. Those kids were very
Have those at the end, that way we have an audience.
Okay, what?
Have those at the end of the night, so that way we have an audience.
I get him to come now, so I'm not upset.
I liked it. We both. Yeah, it's very structured too. So it has inclusive opportunities. Absolutely. If I'm taking like yeah, we liked it. So I'm glad I got to see you. Not even. I'll see you guys. How are you? Thursday. How are you? Okay.
I don't know, chairs, because we've been pulling them and moving around.
We need a vote.
Look at this side around. We do. I pull that around. That's fine. Very well, very well. Load.
Did you give Ally that thing that they wanted announced? The,
Sent it.
thank you.
Yeah, you tried.
Thank you all.
You don't have much of that. That needs to come in, because not being asked at all. A little bit.
All right, we're back. And next on the agenda is our food services agreement. As the committee knows, our current food services agreement is close to its expiration. And so we are currently in the process of considering proposals from vendors who have submitted them to the school committee. They have been kind enough to provide food earlier this evening, and now we're going to make presentations to the committee. So, Mr. Furtado, if you want to introduce our first company.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. We have two vendors to bring before the committee this evening. The first will be our incumbent vendor, Whitson's, represented by Paul Whitcomb, who is the president of the organization, Mr. Ozzie Osillo, who is the sales director for the organization. He did his job over there. John Prunia, who's the regional manager who supports the on-site staff, and then the two on-site folks, Brian and Craig, who are here every day very good for the students of Attleboro.
Thank you.
Would you like to set the table here?
Please, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for coming. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Adam.
Well, as Mark said, my name is Ozzy Osilla, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales for Whitson's Culinary Group.
Details.
Small details. Before we begin, I just want to thank the school committee for this opportunity to be here tonight to talk about our approach to school nutrition, what makes us different as an organization, and why we feel we're still the best choice for the Attleboro Public Schools. The decision to pick a partner to be a food service partner is a big decision. It impacts the lives of the students, the faculty, team members, and in fact the entire school community. So we feel it's important that you select a partner that shares your vision, shares your values, and has a real commitment to the community. So our goal for tonight's meeting is to answer your questions, and so that you feel comfortable that Whitson's is still the best choice for the Attleboro Public Schools. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of the roles here. Mark did a great job introducing, but Paul Whitcomb is the president and CEO of Whitson's. He sits on the board of directors. He's a member of the family that owns the company. Next to him is John Prunier. John is involved in the oversight management of the program. He meets with Mark and our team on a regular basis. And behind me we have Brian Papone, who's our food service director. Brian's been with us at Whitson's and Attleboro for the past 8 years. He was our chef manager prior to becoming food service director. And next to him is Craig Chin. Craig is our chef manager here on site at the Attleboro Public Schools. So both Brian and Craig bring a ton of experience, culinary experience to the program. So since we only have 20 minutes together, our plan is to just tell you a little bit about us, what makes us different as an organization, and some of the highlights of our proposal. Then we want to open up to your questions, and if I could just have the last minute or two to summarize the time we have together, that'd be great. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Paul and ask Paul to tell you a little bit about Whitson's and where we're going as an organization.
Sure. So I will give you the super abridged version. So Whitson's is a family business. I am the youngest of 9 siblings. The business actually started because my dad and mom, as they had this large family over 20 years, decided that I have 7 brothers and 2 sisters. So as the older brothers were starting to go away to college in Connecticut or Alabama or wherever they were going, my parents realized very quickly that this close, tight family we had a very easy ability to start spreading the wings and go to their own geography. So my dad, I think with a lot of foresight and a lot of courage, and my mom decided to start a business. So they looked and looked and looked, and for some reason they settled on buying a restaurant on Long Island. And so we as a family, my dad basically remortgaged the house, took his life, recashed in his life insurance policy, and took every penny that he and my mom had to start a business at the age of 52. So we as a family literally learned the food business by growing up in it. So that was back in 1979. Fast forward 35 years. We've transitioned from the restaurant side of the business that we began in and found our home in school nutrition. Over the last 20 years, we've grown our focus as an organization in school nutrition. It is what we do. And we've built our internal resources and our teams around providing innovative items, innovative programs, innovative food to the school nutrition market. And we've been very successful in focusing our energies and our commitment to changing that universe. About 12 years ago, we were one of the first companies, I think nationwide, who really began to focus on food at an ingredient level, working out things like high fructose corn syrup, artificial colors, artificial flavors, artificial preservatives, things like MSG, making sure we don't have hormones in our chicken products or milk products or pork products. Our organization has evolved and grown over the years in terms of how we're able to work with producers of food, growers, and work those unnecessary ingredients out of it. Our organization is continuing to push the envelope in that area. We're focusing back on our roots as a family business, as a restaurant, and going back to that ingredient level and working more, continuing to put more wholesome items into the menus and into the students, into the menus for the students. We're bringing in things like organic items. We're working with farmers who transition from traditional farming to organic farming, and working out items where possible, focusing on bringing in non-GMO items. So our organization has changed over the years and is continuing to grow down that path. And 8 years ago, when we sat in this very room and discussed that was an important part for the Attleboro community going forward. For us, it's still an important part, and it's an evolution of where we are as an organization, but we take our responsibility of feeding your students very seriously. So I guess I'll just pass it back to Ozzy. I know we have a short time, but I wanted to get as much in that time as I could, so I apologize.
So let me tell you a little bit about our operating philosophy and what makes us different in the industry. As Paul said, we're a family-owned business, and school nutrition is really what we do. It's our core business. We've really, our whole business is formed by family values, and it revolves around people, food, and communication. And when it comes to people, we believe in treating our team members, our customers, our clients like family. We think that's something that's just been forgotten in corporate America today. When it comes to food, as Paul said, we have a passion for food that begins at the ingredient level. Our team has worked tirelessly to get rid of the unnecessary artificial ingredients that you find in so many foods today. We do as much scratch cooking as we can so that we can incorporate wholesome ingredients into the meals that we serve students. Simply said, we purchase, prepare, and serve the same types of foods that you want to serve your family at home. And because the structure of our organization, our team members, our clients, our customers have open lines of communication to the senior management team, including the owners of the company, which really allows us to listen to our clients and develop unique solutions to meet their needs and do it quickly. That type of open communication and flexibility really just doesn't exist in large corporations. Treat everyone like family, serve wholesome foods that taste great, and really listen to your clients and your customers. And as simple as that basic philosophy sounds, it resonates with our clients and really sets us apart in the industry. So I want to touch base on some of the proposal highlights. As Paul said, 8 years ago, when we started with Attleboro, the charge was to improve the quality of the meals, the nutritional ingredient of the meals, use more fresh fruits and vegetables, introduce scratch cooking, which hadn't been done, and really develop a team atmosphere with the team members. And of course, do all this and not impact the financial integrity of the program in any way. So I'm proud to say that we were able to do that. We met those goals. Moving forward, our proposal and our operating plan really takes those goals to a new level with our commitment to the community, our commitment to bringing in more,
Organic.
what's that?
Organic ingredients, yeah.
Organic and more non-GMO ingredients into the program, and our commitment to open lines of communication. First of all, our site management team is totally committed to the program. Brian and Craig both live in the community. They both have students, children in the Attleboro Public Schools. 90% of our team members are Attleboro residents that live and work in the community and have friends and relatives in the community. In fact, more than 60% of the team members that we started with 8 years ago are still with us today. And in the food service industry, over 8 years, that's a tremendous retention rate. So I think we've definitely developed that relationship with the team. We have a social responsibility to the communities that we serve, to give back to the community. We've participated in the breakfast each year coming back to school. We've provided scholarships for deserving seniors that want to advance their education in the culinary field. And we've participated in community fundraisers like the Attleboro Heat. All of these things that we've done in the past and we're going to continue to do in the future as part of our commitment. we also have a commitment to sustainability and being a good steward of the environment. Brian and his team worked with the styrofoam team at the high school this year. 6 students that really helped us see the light on getting rid of styrofoam at the high school. And proud to say that we have compostable trays now, and our plan moving forward is to roll that out across the district in the new contract. So we're really excited about that, and I know it was a great write-up in the Sun Chronicle, and there's some pictures in the proposal if you've had a chance to look through that. Other things that we've done, I don't know if you've seen or outside, we introduced vertical gardens at the Brennan Middle School, and there's a sample of one out in the lobby. We're rolling those out to all the schools as a learning tool, so kids get to see where their foods come from. And then we're taking that to a next step with the Brennan Middle School, as the team has coordinated with special needs classes to create an outside garden. And we'll be breaking ground on that in the next couple of weeks, because we're at the mercy, of the weather.
Aren't we all?
When it comes to food, what we're talking about is our Simply Rooted initiative. And that really takes our commitment to wholesome foods to a new level by introducing the organics and the non-GMO items. And this commitment really brings your school district on the cutting edge. Much like it was 8 years ago, where our nutritional standards that we brought to the community was light years ahead of the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act, and in front of the whole industry.
Can I interject something on
You
that?
may.
One of the challenges there is working within the confines of the financial parameters and the nutritional parameters that are imposed on the National School Lunch Program. So our goal is to continue to push, as we always have, and particularly over the last 12 years, to try to push the envelope with regard to the ingredients that we're able to bring to the table. And our purchasing team has worked very diligently to incorporate about 10 different organic items in the upcoming school years. And we're going to continue to work with farmers and growers in different areas to try to work out GMO ingredients or where they can incorporate organic. It's not something you could turn on overnight. There are things like working with transitional farmers who are going from traditional farming to organic, where you can get those products that are not certified organic, but they're grown in an organic manner. So there are things that take a little bit of time, but our goal is to push the envelope on that year over year over year. And with Whitson's, you have a partner who's focused on that because it's important to us. We believe it's important, and we know it's important to parents for their students. Sorry.
No, this rolls in terrific with the next point. And the next point is we've created a partnership with the Langwater Farm in Easton, and we'll be bringing ultra-local produce to the schools, starting, actually, we started already. If you tried the organic berry smoothie with kale, I think the kale came from the farm. So that's pretty exciting. We'll be moving forward with that. We've also invested in the facilities to improve the food options that we can provide students. 5 years ago, we went through and we renovated the high school, all the high school serving lines. So we were able to introduce a lot of the menu concepts that you see on page 17, 18 of the handout. All those items are things that we're offering on a regular basis. And if you've tried any of the samples outside, those are, for example, the sushi we serve today at the high school. These are all items that we're serving currently. And Chef Ryan tells me we did 160 rolls today at the high school, so they were pretty busy. 168. Sorry. 168 rolls, I'm corrected. So next year, our plan, or our proposal moving forward, is to invest at the elementary level. There's some renderings in the proposal, some schematics, as well as the rendering of what we're doing, what we're redoing the elementary schools to make them more inviting, create a more inviting atmosphere, improve the line service to speed up the lines and allow us to offer different types of foods in a faster manner to increase participation in the program. So we're very excited about that. At the secondary schools, we offer, like I said, all those menu items that are offered on 17 and 18 currently. At different stations throughout the schools. We are expanding with our expressly Asian concept. A new item that we'll be introducing is the rock and bowl, which sounds like it's going to be a terrific item the kids are going to love. The dumplings, that station, and the sushi are all examples of the expressly Asian. The macho nachos is part of the Coyote Grill concept. And if you looked at this, I don't know how many people noticed, but the smoothies at the end, the smoothies, pretzels, were all organic items that we're offering in the schools. From a communication standpoint, we offer two robust nutrition education programs. First, we have our Fooditude Fuel, which is really designed to help inform, educate, and motivate teens to eat right and exercise right. It's more of an informational program to give students, teenagers, the facts about eating right and the importance of exercise. At the elementary level, we have our award-winning nutrition education program called Nutrition Safari. There we use spokes characters, spokes animals as that represent the different food groups, and it's really designed to make school nutrition or nutrition education a fun adventure for the kids. And anytime the chefs are in and we do the nutrition safari, it's a hit with the kids. The elementary kids, they love it. And we do food samplings at those events so that they can try different items that they would probably never try otherwise. So it's really an educational and widens the palates of the kids. Important aspect of our program is really relying on communication and surveying our students. We do that on an annual basis, and we develop items or make changes to the program because they're really directing us which way we should go with that. Recently, we made some changes at the high school with the salad bar, the deli bar, as well as pasta bars in direct response to student feedback. We meet with the principals on a regular basis. We're also listening to them as far as what they'd like to see in the program. This year, we modified our elementary school menus to better fit the needs of the building principals. There were some things that they wanted to see us make changes to. We try to engage with the parents. We do it on a couple of different levels. First, we have our middle schools bring your parents to school day. We also do that at the elementary school, back to school, so the parents get to have lunch in school and really see the lunch experience with their students. We're also really committed to asking our customers more often what it is they'd like to see. So one of the things that we're proposing moving forward is a survey kiosk, mobile survey kiosk that we can move into different schools at different times, so that students can actually do the online survey right there while they're in line or after lunch or during lunch. We have a couple of different survey tools. One is as simple as happy, not happy for like elementary kids, and one a little more sophisticated where we can develop in-depth questions, 3 or 4 questions, just to get a good feel for what students are looking for. We promote the program through our merchandising and marketing programs. As you go through the proposal, you can see a number of the way that we merchandise lines, and all you have to do is actually go down the hall and look in the high school, our approach to school nutrition. We really want to make food the center of the plate, the way it's presented, the way it tastes, the way it looks, and the way it feels, and then complement it with a signage program or a look and feel that's warm and inviting to students. So that's kind of the 15-minute high-level summary of kind of like where we are, where we're going as an organization. I don't know if you all had a chance to read the 200-something pages or look through those pages, but if you have questions, we'd love to entertain those questions. And again, if I could just have the last minute and a half to summarize, I appreciate it.
Questions? Mr. Larson?
It's merely as a curiosity question, more other, but I know school lunch programs are all governed by the USDA. How exactly are you certified by the USDA? The agriculture United States Agriculture,
USDA.
USDA, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
USDA, you and I are both on the same.
No, no.
Does it work for them? We're gonna hit the links. I'm sorry, the question is?
So I know all the guidance comes down, and I guess there must be a certification process that Whitson must have to comply with. And I was just curious as to what that
There's
that
a,
is and what
they,
that
I
was.
think the regulations come from the federal level, but they're administered at the state level, and each state has their ability to apply more strict guidelines. So, what the state is required to do is provide an administrative audit every 3 years to make sure everything that's going on in the program is consistent with what the requirements that are necessary. Our experience in our administrative audits is 100% without any denotations, so we're very proud of that. All of our programs are very strong, exceeding the minimum standards that the government sets forward. When was our, did we do one here? Last year? Okay, so in 2 years you'll have another one of those audits.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? How many school districts in Massachusetts do you guys provide food for?
25, 27.
27, I think.
Is that, and how does Attleboro rank in size compared with the others?
We're probably first or second
Probably
large.
second
Yeah.
largest.
Provider.
Most districts, yeah.
And you have districts out of state as well?
We do. Our organization is concentrated in terms of where we choose to work because we're local, my family, so that's where we started. Our area of service is between southern New Hampshire and the capital region of Pennsylvania, so Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Wow.
Mr. Geddes?
You mentioned a couple of plans you have for slight changes to menu, possible changes to facilities in a few different schools. What do you think is your biggest area of improvement, or what do you think you need to improve on the most going forward if we bring you back?
Good question.
That's a great question. I think we do a tremendous job with food. I think we do a tremendous job with our team. If there's anything that we could, I think, improve on, is communication, touching more people, like the things that we're talking about with the surveys, regular meetings with the principals. I would love to see you folks more often. We don't come to see you that often. We meet with Mark pretty much on a monthly basis. But I think that opening the lines of communication, getting feedback from this level would probably, because I think no matter what it is, we can do it.
Yeah, I think I can speak for the company because that's my role. That's why I'm here, I guess, right? What's most important for us is to really understand your vision for the program, and not only where you are, but where you want to be next year, 5 years down the road, and so forth. And it allows us to use our organization's resource to make sure that's aligned. Just because the direction that was set 8 years ago has moved forward, it doesn't mean that it's exactly in alignment with what the community is looking for, exactly what the committee is looking for. So what we would appreciate most is to have a clear understanding into what that vision is, and then allow our team to come back and say, here's the roadmap, because that's what we do. And the programs, although they're federal and they're state monitored, every community is different. Every community's needs and desires, and often from school to school, change. So the beauty of our organization is that we have that great flexibility to work around each individual community, or as local as the school level, because there are certain requirements or constraints. And that's a strength of ours, and that's something that if we would have the ability to get some better vision and work together on, I think that would be powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Quinn?
I was wondering if building off of what Mr. Geddes had asked, and he kind of touched upon this in that 35,000-foot view. I'm curious to kind of build off of what's going on with Ms. Del Rose. Can you talk about a situation where you incorporated student feedback about the quality of lunches and how you've changed over those 8 years? Because I think what's important to me is that we create a school lunch environment where kids are looking forward to it, right? There's school situations where the kids are like, I'd rather bring from home, but I'd like a spot where the kids are really looking forward to it. And part of that's getting feedback from the students. And maybe this is something more for the local team members, or even just talking, company-wide, but how specifically you've kind of changed, not only to meet the federal guidelines, but also kind of the local needs of the students.
You want to personally talk about that, or
Sure.
do you have any suggestions?
You guys have anything you want to?
Local?
Local?
Some local examples of how we've listened to the community, listened to the kids and made some changes. I know I touched on it briefly at the high school level, but I don't know it firsthand.
Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but, you know, we were just trying to, you know, one of the, part of the proposal is to, kind of make the elementary lines more, inviting, where the students can come in, see a nice little design of, possibly a school bus or something like that. It would really get them excited about coming in, getting lunch every day. We've changed the variety of our choices that we have at elementary level.
And those really are direct feedback from
Yeah.
from principals, from
Right.
parents,
Right.
from the kids. Food quality wise, you know, for the most part, I think we have a well-accepted program. I'm not aware of issues in that area. I know, like I said today, kids are very excited about lunch at the high school.
At an organization-wide level, it varies from, so not with this specific within Attleboro, but it varies from serving locations, serving times. Some communities say, boy, wouldn't it be great if we had extra hours at this time, or if we could start some kind of dinner program, or in some instances where items are sourced, they tend to be where there are more local farms available. We've worked within the community to say it would be great if we could incorporate more of these ingredients in when they're available. So it's been from an ingredient level, it's been a staffing level, it's been a time level. It's just about any area that you can touch on, and the most important thing is to be able to establish that feedback loop. I think the trays were a great example of connecting at a student level, and that kind of engagement is what yields the most benefit, because what happens is the students get a chance to see that their voice is actually heard and is impactful in the program. And once that dynamic starts, that program can very quickly become their own, as opposed to just a program that they participate in. I think that's the goal.
And the other thing that, you know, I'm thinking back now, the designs that we did 5 years ago at the high school with the serving lines really was in direct feedback from what students were looking for, you know, more of and what we could offer, because if, you know, the way it's laid out is a little unique, so we wanted to try to offer the types of concepts that the kids wanted in the places where it was generally located, where they could get to them easily. So, you know, all of that was based on student feedback and our observations of the program.
Thank you.
I think we have one more question from Mr. Tyler, and then I'll turn it back to you for your final comments. Right, Mr. Tyler?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. More of a comment than a question. 8 years ago, the committee made a very hard decision to switch vendors from a vendor that almost had 30 years in the system. And with that came a lot of concerns logistically. And I just want to say that I think your company has done a wonderful job with all our concerns. I mean, staffing, retention and stuff, these were all huge questions we had when we were trying to provide a more nutritional food for the students of the school, which was very important to us. And I just want to say that I think your company did a great job making sure that all those things, questions and concerns back then were handled, and I think you've really advanced this lunch system in the school, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. We appreciate that very kind comments. We look at it as a journey, right? So no matter where you start, you're always taking another step down the road. And we're never satisfied with exactly where we are, because no matter how good you are at any point, there's becomes status quo. And so the idea of continually looking at what's around the next corner is what our job is as a partner for the community. And you know, our focus and our organization's resource being focused in that area, I hope that you feel comfortable that we have your best interest and your community's best interest in mind, and that we are actively pursuing what's the next thing that we're going to be able to do for your community. And we look forward to the opportunity of continuing to work with you and serve your students. So we certainly thank you for that, but I'll pass it on to you.
So thank you. So at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that, you know, partnering with the Right Food Service Company really impacts the lives of the entire school community. So I just wanted to summarize some of the key points why I think
we're still the best choice for the Attleboro Public Schools. And I want to leave you with one real-life example of how you impacted the lives of the community. First of all, as a family-owned business, I think our values are more in line with the school community than what's out there in corporate America. Our on-site team, you're not going to find a more committed group between the parent, Brian and Craig, that both live in the community, have kids in the schools, and 90% of our team members are Attleboro residents. That's a commitment to the program. We're passionate about food, and we're passionate about serving, as Paul said, your students the best quality, the best nutritional value of foods that we can possibly serve your students. Simply put, as I said before, we purchase, serve, and we purchase, prepare, and serve the same types of foods that you want to serve your family at home. With Whitson's, you get a management team and a family that truly cares about your community, your students, and the entire program. But before we go, I just want to leave you with that one real-life example. In my role as the head of sales for the organization, I get new business email inquiries into the company. So I got an email from a little girl, and I didn't know it was a little girl when I got the email because it was so well constructed. But anyway, she was trying to rally the parents and adults in her school to to be more demanding about this school lunch program. She wanted to have wholesome ingredients in her schools. She wanted to have more scratch cooking in her schools, more fruits and vegetables, and in her words, totally awesome meals. So why am I telling you this, and why did she reach out to me? Well, as it turned out, this little girl went to the Willard Elementary School before she moved to Rhode Island. And she's trying to get Whitson's into her new school in Rhode Island because she had such a good experience with you folks at the Willard schools.
But
So-
talk about empowering, right? I mean,
It's just
think of how,
mind blowing.
yeah, how cool
and
that is.
And I hear from a very reliable source that she's even more impressive in person.
I believe it.
Than she was in the email.
Yeah.
So we hope that you find that Whitson's is the best choice for the Attleboro Public Schools, just like that little girl. So on behalf of the Whitcomb family and the entire Whitson's extended family, we want to thank you again and wish you a great evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time
Thank you.
tonight. I'm just gonna leave a little stack of my cards here if anybody, I have my personal number on that, if anybody needs it for any reason. That's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again.
So that they ate exactly what they wanted.
Supposed to be riveting television right now for those watching at home.
Welcome.
Where would you like us to go? Right over in here?
Right up front at the table.
Right here. Oh, okay, terrific. Great. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Can you put a placemat down for everybody?
Yeah, please, thank you.
Okay. I think you met most of our crew earlier. We're just gonna get our computer set up here. Is the wireless down, did we hear?
The wireless down.
You go right into here. I think so. Is that up? That should be fine. Yeah, that should put your shoes in.
Placemat down in front of you. Hi, I'm Laura.
I think you just post it on the back of it.
Judy Nelson. Oh,
No, we don't need internet.
hello there.
Yeah, we-
Let's put this right down in front of you all. We'll place it out. It's gonna be set up, and I thought if you were keeping still, this would be helpful and,
Thank you very much.
Okay. We'll go this way. How about that? All right. Oh, yeah, excuse me, I didn't realize I walked right. Yes. This is super parent. It said super parent. That's what they walked by and I thought that they said as opposed to superintendent, but that ought to be both, you know?
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. No, it's on.
It's on. It's on. Thank you.
Put it on your phone. Put it on your phone.
Well, I guess I don't need to stand once there's no audience on this side, so I guess we can sit down with you. How about that?
Sounds good.
Um,
And although I know, I think most of us have had introductions, there are people watching at home and online. So if you want to make introductions, that would be helpful, I believe, for the public.
Okay. Am I being taped right now?
You are.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Hi there, where's the camera?
It's all over.
Hi, I'm Laura Hinkle. I'm the Vice President of Business Development with Sodexo. And I'll just let everybody go around our team and introduce yourself.
I'm Mark Tucker. I'm the district manager for the Rhode Island and Massachusetts market.
I'm Dwight Parker. I'm the director of business development.
I'm Andrew Butler, the GM candidate.
I'm Carrie Pinard. I'm the chef candidate.
I'm Eva Chung, HR Director.
And finally, I'm Mike Gray. I'm Regional Vice President for both food and facilities for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, then we can take seats here. I'll take the clicker. Thanks, Dwight.
This one. Yep. Yep.
Well, thank you very, very much for inviting us to join you tonight. We're really excited and enthusiastic to present to you our plan for a new vision for your food service program. We just did our introduction, so I don't need to go over that slide anymore. But it is important to mention that we do have our chef candidate and our candidate for general manager, who are both really excited about the opportunity to be here and join your team. Your theme of engage, challenge, and inspired us to model our program off of your goals and mission. So we hope to show you tonight that we have a program that will not only capture the attention, it will engage your students and faculty and administration, will challenge ourselves to provide the best program to your district, and last but not least, provide some really incredible inspiration in terms of the employees who serve to your students, and inspiration to your students for their careers or their lives or their health. So that's a little bit about what we're going to do. So it all starts with food. And food is delicious. And tonight you had a sampling of some of our street eats tacos. So, but just to get a tiny hint of what that meant to our chef and how she prepared that, I was just going to ask Carrie if she'd just tell us a little bit about the dinner that we had tonight.
Sure. So a lot of Sodexo's tries to get as much. We're getting away from non-scratch cooking. The turkey that you had was roasted and pulled, tossed with a in-house made sauce, with a little chocolate, ancho chilies, tossed together. The beef was not a crumble; it was raw ground beef, tossed in-house seasonings and prepared fresh today, as were many of the salsas and the toppings. So we're trying to get as many fresh ingredients, and the watermelon's coming in great this time of year, so that was something our kids love when watermelon and strawberries come around, so we like to incorporate that in the menu as much as possible. The fresher the better, and that's where we strive to get to with all of our programs.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carrie. So fresh, wholesome, delicious, scratch cooking, that's really the epitome of what we're all about in terms of quality food presentation and nutrition for the students. So you can see some delicious tacos. Again, local produce. We have local providers that we partner with. And one of our options is even to grow that produce fresh here at the campus. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Again, we're scratch cooking. Salad dressings, we're making those from scratch, oil and vinegar, pure ingredients, the freshest of fresh for the students. That's important about the program that we have. So it's not just pre-made or pre-packaged or shipped in from some other place. This is truly made and scratch cooked from the actual units. And we provide a lot of training, and I will talk about that down the road, but getting a team to learn to cook from scratch, we provide all that training. So from day one, we start introducing new concepts in the way we teach the employees how to prepare fresh, great meals. So that's that. And then we try to make it fun. And I think you saw the cube boxes out there, making it enjoyable and fun and pleasing to the palate, not only to the eyes, because as we all know, everyone likes to eat with their eyes. What looks good, you want to taste. So we're looking for really great ways to make it interesting and fun for the students, regardless if they're in the first grade or if they're ready to go off to college. So, making it fun, our concept that we have for the students that are in kindergarten through 5th grade is called Clubhouse. And what makes this so exciting is that this program was actually designed for students by children. So we did group surveys, and we brought them in as a test group and asked them which colors were preferential, which gave them the most excitement about wanting to sit down and spend some time with their friends. And we've created this program that not only looks exciting for the students, but we've created menus. And that's the big takeaway, is that the menus are for students. It's the things that that age group really likes to have and resonates with them. And also at the same time stretches their palate just a little bit to take them off the edge, down to the edge, I should say. We do a lot of programming throughout the year, and I think all of you had a chance to sample the quiche that was out there, and that was an award-winning quiche, as was the Thanksgiving roll-up. And again, we were really proud that over 300 schools this year participated. So what that meant, there were 2,600 children that were at home with their parents, creating a healthy, wonderful choice that they could enter and participate in at their school level, and then at the district level, and at a regional level, and at a national level. So we were really, really proud of this program, but that's just one of many that we offer throughout the year. And again, you can see them all on YouTube, just like everything else. Our middle students, our middle school students, everything is changing for them, everything in their life. They're sometimes changing classes for the first time. They're learning about sports and nutrition, and everything is new and exciting for them. So the Did You Know Cafe is a program that we've come up with that really then tries to model some of the more bountiful ethnic cuisines that that they might like to try. We do a lot of signage with that and encouraging them to try different things that are a little bit different. And then we sign it with a lot of really cool signage that says, "Did you know?" And that "did you know" could be anything from how many calories it would take to burn off an enchilada, how many laps you'd have to take around the running track, or anything like that. So that's a little bit about the Did You Know Cafe. And last but not least is Crossroads Cafe, and this is for our senior high students. And this is our program that, again, we're really, really trying to take them to that next step. What it's going to be like, even in the college, when they go off to college, they're going to have way more choices, probably up to 12 or so on a daily basis for them to choose from. So we're going to offer lots and lots of variety, 8, 12, and 15, if you will, on the number of increased options that they're going to have every year that they're in school at Attleboro. And again, we're going to combine lots of flavors and make it exciting and fun for them as well. And then our surprise, of course, you'll see a little bit later on. We'll talk about that. We're also going to engage them through technology. And I know that you all saw the Starman out there with our liftoff. That is, did anybody bring a copy of that in?
They all have them on the table.
Okay. Liftoff is, again, a scannable opportunity for everyone in the district. Every student will get one at the beginning of the year, so that they can always know what's up to date with our menus. But again, anyone who has a smartphone can download So Happy. And So Happy is our app that not only has the delicious menus that we're going to be serving at your school, but it also has the calorie information. It has allergen information, so any students that have different allergies, they can know what they're going to have before they get to school. And then, of course, we still do the old-fashioned way, too, that we will print menus for anybody who needs it printed for home. Engaging students through feedback is really important. That's how we continue to fine-tune our menus, make regional adaptations, and even by school. It can differ. So we'll survey students right in the cafeteria. We'll also do parent-teacher surveys, administrative surveys, to make sure that we're really performing at the optimal level and giving students really what they want, a great healthy meal. Okay, the next mission was the challenge, and I'm going to pass over to Mark, who's going to talk about the challenges that we're going to rise to.
I'll stand if you don't mind.
Okay.
So when we talk about challenge, there's many challenges that we face, and particularly in school lunch, there's a challenge to bring new ideas and be innovative and meet kids where they are. And I think it's important that we're constantly pushing the envelope to be able to do that, and it's important for our kids to be able to do that. So one way that we talk about meeting that challenge is to propose to renovate some of the elementary serving lines in their cafeterias. We're fortunate to have facilities here with us and partner with us to be able to do that in a smooth process. We can look at innovative ways that we can redesign cafeterias for kids that it's more inviting and fun, and it allows them to have better, healthier options. So that's one challenge. The next challenge is really to keeping up with the trends and what's going on in the food service industry. High school kids and middle school kids today, even elementary kids today, are not the kids of the past. These kids have tremendous palates, and they're looking for new and innovative things. Street Eats is just one of those innovative things that Sodexo can offer. You saw the trailer out today. You're able to sample some of the stuff. We propose to have one of these in the Attleboro district to be able to go to the middle and the high schools on a continuing basis. This is a way for us to engage with the students and meet them at their what they want at their level as far as what's going on in the food industry for trends nowadays. The next challenge, this is something that I'm really excited about and that I'm working on with another district as well, is called a freight farm. Many of you are kind of wondering what a freight farm is. So this is called a leafy green machine. And a leafy green machine is a reutilized shipping container, and in that shipping container is an actual farm. And basically this farm can produce leafy greens, lettuce, herbs, some vegetables as well. And basically what we want to do is bring this to Attleboro to incorporate into the food service program and allow students to have local food at their back door. Not only would they have local fresh food on their plate every day, but we would incorporate this system into academics. It's important for us as a food service company not only just to serve good food, but to be able to ingrain our food service program with the academics of the school and what the missions are of the school. So we would want to partner with the schools and and create a learning pathway for a student or for students to go through agriculture or sustainability pathway, so that way they could help harvest and grow and understand where food comes from, and then put it on a plate for students to serve by students. So this is a really unique concept that is new, and we would love to do that here. The next subject is Inspire. I'm going to let Dwight go through that.
I'm also going to follow Mark's lead and stand. So, again, we took you guys' mission statement and we broke it into 3 pillars, the third pillar being Inspire. And this is twofold. We want to inspire students to take an active role in their nutritional education. We also want to inspire our current staff to basically elevate their customer service experience for the students. Some of the community engagement things that we've talked about, or that we like to talk about, is, there we go. This is called Serving with Smiles. So we work with local law enforcement, and they come and they actually help the children serve lunches, and it kind of facilitates that great community relationship. This is our Relay for Life, but this is a really great program. This is a nutritional day with a dietitian. So we have a registered dietitian come in, and they talk to children about some of our educational programs. You guys saw the cans on the tables, our Back to the Root program, where they grow fresh herbs. We also have organic mushroom farms, and what that does is the kids learn about the mushrooms, they grow the mushrooms, but then we incorporate them into recipes. We've done that in a couple different districts, and we put them on pizzas, and so the selling of pizzas on that mushroom day was just phenomenal because kids grew it until they wanted to see about it, right? So just another piece of education and showing the kids early on that you can make healthy choices and it can still be flavorful. This is our backpack program. So we understand that not every child is fortunate enough to be able to have the great pizza on Friday nights with their family or grill out hot dogs on Saturday. Sometimes kids leave school Friday and wonder what their next meal is going to be, unfortunately. So what we've done is we've partnered with local food banks through scholar grants, and we provide backpacks. So we provide food for these children to take home over the weekends. And so when they come back to school Monday, they're happy to be back to school, not just happy because they can eat again. Some of the other community engagement things we've done is lunch with retired teachers. So we kind of keep the teachers involved with the district, even though they may no longer be actively working. This was a luncheon here we did. Part of the program that we like to offer is scholarships for a couple of graduating high school seniors. And this was a luncheon we did where 2 students got $1,000 scholarships towards college. Again, furthering that educational piece. And this was our back to school celebration bash. And this was a catering luncheon where the kids actually catered for a board meeting. So maybe if we come aboard, we can have the kids cater for you guys next time instead of a food truck. So we know that the children are only one part of the equation. The employees are also a really big piece, right? And so from a recruiting standpoint, we vow to recruit local. You see we have our local team here. And part of that recruiting is welcoming all of your current employees onto the Sodexo payroll and making it a smooth transition, because we really believe in the quality of life for all of our employees, regardless of what level within the organization. And regardless of what level, we believe in promoting from within and helping them grow in their personal careers. The best way to do that is to reward people for a job well done. So some of the staff engagement things, obviously, we bring them aboard, but we've got the Employee of the Month things because everybody wants a pat on the back to realize for a job well done. We've got the training and development. Again, we've got folks here, and a lot of these folks here actually started as frontline folks, frontline cooks, and have risen to the ranks of management and so on and so forth because we believe in developing our people, and that's what will happen here. Lastly, just some of the recognition and rewards. So, in closing, we looked at the mission of the district: engage, challenge, and inspire. They didn't teach me how to work a clicker. But as we look at this and we look at the mission of Attleboro and we looked at engaging, challenging, and inspire, I'm going to go off topic and speak more from a dad, not a food service employee. For me, the fact of engaging my children, because I've got a middle schooler and I've got a high schooler, and the food equity for me, my daughter's eating just as good as my son is in high school. That's what's most important, the food equity for children, middle school, elementary, middle, and high school, right? The educational piece of it, them making healthy, nutritional choices. And those choices that are made in elementary school tend to ride with them through life, because obviously my kids didn't come from the best of genes. And so if I can teach them how to eat the right way, maybe it'll go along with them, right? A lot of the scratch cooking, so not so much processed, but the chicken or the turkey that was shredded this morning and roasted this morning, the fresh herbs and spices, it's those sort of things that I want my children to take advantage of. The last piece of the community. We all got to live here, right? And as we raise the children up the right way and we're involved in it, we're fostering the future. So those are the things that, to me, are the most important about a partnership for Attleboro and Sodexo. And that's how we feel like we can take your program to the next level. So with that, we'll conclude and we'll open it up to any questions you guys may have.
Thank you. Any questions?
So the company I'm employed at uses Sodexo, and I am amazed at what they're able to offer on a day-to-day basis. So my question is, in regards to, corporate as compared to school districts, what's the differences with what we could expect as to what I'm seeing right now in the corporate?
So can you clarify, do you mean the food choices? Do you mean the operation? What do you mean?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'll defer to...
Oh, you're looking at me, so I guess I have to get up. So I'll say that we try to create the menus to the palates of the students that we need. In the corporate environment, we don't, some of the restrictions, healthy, hunger-free kids, et cetera, we don't have. In the school's environment, we do. So we're talking whole grain and various things. So a couple things that we do is to stay very current on the regulations. I myself actually in charge of it nationally for our organization to make sure that we're meeting the regulations. The second is that we have to continually ask the students what they're looking for. We have to innovate. We have to come up with ideas. Do you have a food truck at your corporate environment?
No, just the cafeteria.
Well, we already won. So we're looking for things like that, and we're looking for recipes and so forth. We go to the extent of, for instance, in some of our locations where we have a population of students from all over the world, we'll actually get their moms and dads into the school for a night. We'll put on a program, and we'll have them create recipes for us using spices that are from their native lands, wherever it might be, and that helps us to keep it fresh for the kids. So we're always looking to innovate. It's always around food. The marketing, the things that you saw are all great. They make things look nice, but it's really about the food. The food under the sign has to be good, or else the kids aren't going to eat it. So we try very, very hard to continually try to innovate and come up with new ideas to engage the students so that they can have this sort of continued, I think what you referenced was, you said you were amazed at the things we're able to come up with. Well, that's what we're trying to do here as well. We try to have a good stable of things that are consistent that kids can have. If you're a vegetarian, there's options for you. If you have other dietary restrictions, there's options. But then there's also new things coming, limited time offers, and new ideas that are based on things that you know and things that you like and things you want to see. So that's how we try to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Quinn?
Building off of Mr. Storrs' question, I was curious about the differentiation between the different types of schools. And I was wondering if you could give a specific example of how you've changed a menu based on specific student feedback at perhaps a specific school.
Sure. I'll be happy to answer that. So I'm in charge of managing school districts in the area. So I think one of the best ways to do that is we do surveys with students. We bring in iPads and we allow the students to do surveys right in lunch, and we talk to them about the food they just ate, food that they would like to see in the menu, and then we take that information and within regulations, obviously, we incorporate those ideas into the menu, and we give the feedback back to them and say, we heard you. This is the changes we're making. Another great program would be the Future Chef program that we were talking about, and the recipe that you sampled tonight with the quiche. So those recipes are made by kids, and they're things that they like. So we take those recipes and we add them to our menu. And so that quiche menu is now a standard recipe in Cumberland. And the students will see that. And it's great because then the student gets to brag that he gets to have an item on the menu. So it's pretty cool.
And just to follow up to that, so is there any specific example that comes to mind of a change that you've made as a result of the survey?
Yeah.
That can speak like nationally, I'm just kind of
I
curious.
absolutely can. We just launched a new program we call Capture, which is actually we take a group of students from a school, we actually give them a camera.
Mhm.
We tell them to walk around the school. We do this for food and facilities. And we give them a camera, we tell them to walk around and take a picture of something you like
Mhm.
and something you don't like.
Mhm.
And we do it in teams of 2. So the students walk around and they take a picture of that. We were doing this, and this is a brand new program. We just launched it actually last week. So I was in a school district in a meeting with the students so I could kind of understand how the program worked. And we saw pictures from their perspective of some of the stuff on the food lines.
Mhm.
They took a picture of the salad bar because they really liked the salad bar. So that was the good, because you gotta tell me something good, kids. You tell me about all the time. But they took pictures of the service line. They thought the line was too long.
Mhm.
And they had a suggestion about how to fix it, right? And their suggestion was, don't make us sit down before we get up. Let us come in and let tables 1 and 2 go first, and then et cetera. So we implemented that, and this is the first week we're trying it, so it's only Tuesday, so it's only Monday. It's only Monday. It's been a long day. So we're trying that this week. So that's an example of that. They also took a picture of some of the food items we had, and they felt like it was a taco, and the food boat wasn't big enough, so that the taco was over the sides, and it was touching the taco on the line next to it. So they said, just get a bigger food boat so that the taco doesn't go off the side. Now, I would have never thought that that was an issue for a kid, but it turned out it was a big issue for them. So that's some examples of what we think are minor details, are major issues for the students. That's how we try to do that.
Yep. We did. I did a similar example. I did the same program in West Warwick, and we looked at a picture of a big bowl of oranges, and we're like, "Wow, that looks great." And so we asked them, they're like, "We want more than oranges. We want bananas." And we're like, "Sure," and that's easy. But it was just little things like that where the perception of the child is much different than us as adults. So, and that's what we try to get.
How many districts, school districts in Massachusetts are you serving now?
1, 2, 5.
5. And in Rhode Island?
Yep, we have 6 in Rhode. 6.
And how would Attleboro compare size-wise to the districts that you're currently?
Right in the middle. We have 3 or 4 very similar size. Yep. 3, maybe 5. Yep.
Stores?
So knowing that you guys provide facilities, are there any other districts that you can speak to that you do both the facilities and the food service? And could you provide any associated benefits with that connection?
Absolutely.
I'll take that one,
Sure.
because I manage both services. Right next door in Cumberland, we have food service. We've been there for 20-something years.
21 years.
21 years, and we've been there for facilities for 5?
More than that.
2009, I think it was.
Since 2009.
It's 8 years.
So,
flies.
and in terms of benefits, the food service contract is a federal contract, so it's got its own restrictions to it. But what we find is we have much smoother operations between the food and the facilities team. Not always 100% smooth, because we do have 2 different core things that we need to do. But we find that we foster really strong communication between the 2. We find that doing things like renovations and project work, et cetera, runs much more smoothly. And we find that since everybody reports to me, I have the ability to kind of come in and work with our clients on both sides, understand the issues and so forth. And one of the things that I really try to do is to try to really understand the mission of the school district. And we try to do presentations and meetings together, annual meetings where we meet with our clients and the school district people and the school district principals, et cetera, where we try to do an expectations meeting for both services together. So if there's synergies of things that we need to do, food service needs to do X, Y, or Z, well, we need engagement from our facilities team or vice versa, we can do that together. Because the contracts are very separate, so there aren't like pricing opportunities that, we can charge that here and not that there or something like that. Your budgets run differently than that, so we have to keep them from commingling. But we find that there's much better opportunity for synergy when we have a lot of our support folks can come in, and I know Jason's taken advantage of some of our support team as well. They can look at things in both services to help us be as efficient as possible and help us to make plans, long and short-term plans for how we're going to support the district sort of together. One thing that I know from some of the volunteer stuff that I do, that is services have to run very smoothly in a school district in order for the students to be in the right the right position to learn. The building has to be the right temperature. The lights have to be the right have to be bright enough that students can see. The facilities have to be clean. The students have to be ready with a good breakfast and a good lunch, right? And to be treated well in the cafeteria and to have the supports that they need. And we find that things that we do, that we were talking about community, we can do together as well. That's an area where we really see sort of a multiplication of our efforts. Greater than 1 + 1 is in areas where we get involved in the community. Now, back to school bash, something that's happened here for years. You know, those things, those kinds of outside of the four walls of the cafeteria stuff get bigger because we have more resources here. Right? We have 2 services here that allow us to do that bigger and better, or be involved in more things because we've got expertise in both areas that allow us to do that. And I know Dwight talked about some of that with backpackers and various other things that we can do. That you know, when we have more business here, we can be more involved in the community. Those are the things that we really like to do, and honestly, that's why I've stayed with the company for the years that I have, because that's the stuff that makes me inspired.
Thank you. Mrs. Johnson, do you have a question?
I do. So it looks, you know, from the presentation that you guys do a lot of really innovative ideas, a lot of things that are, I'm sure, are very popular with the students. And I could see the food truck being one of those ideas that are very popular. If I heard correctly, that's something that is done both at the middle school and the high school levels. So can you tell me a little bit about the capacity of that truck, how many students you can serve, and how do you deal with the logistics of something like that?
That's me.
Okay.
I'm going to continue the flow of standing up and talking. It seems to work well. So, I currently work in Providence.
Okay.
The food truck we're borrowing from Providence. So I can say this I know very well how this is because I do this every week. So some various high schools similar to Attleboro High in regards to 1,700, I think you have here approximately. So you probably serve about 600 to 800 kids on a food truck. You do have a capacity of 4 to 5 people within the truck. We normally do one concept at a time based on speed of service, and obviously I think you have 15 to 20 minutes for lunch total. So there's interest there in feeding all of the kids during that short window. The accountability end. Commonly what we do is have the kids punch in their number and receive a ticket. The food truck is obviously an outdoor, so we have them send out by the nearest entrance / exit, come in, come outside, come right back in, usually use the cafeteria tables to eat it. So in regards to capacity, it really depends on the size of the truck. The 4 to 5 students at a time are sent up. They obviously get the sides and the toppings, and there's a natural flow to it. So in regards to the issue of the number of kids fed, I think we've fed 800 to 900 kids total per various schools, which would be comparable to what you do here.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. Oh, Mr. Quinn?
One last question. What material is your tray made out of?
Tray?
Your serving trays, yeah.
That depends. We try to do a compostable.
Yep.
But
That's a great answer.
But well, here's the thing: it goes further. You have to compost, right? Because otherwise, you throw it in a bag, it goes in a landfill, and it never breaks down. Right. So we'll work with you, and I know the facilities guy. we can figure out how to make sure that we do that properly. But we prefer to go with the compostable tray and or recycle something if we don't.
Yeah.
I actually prefer at the secondary level to go with a food boat because it's paper.
Yeah.
And at the elementary level, where they need something a little bit more rigid and bigger to keep both hands on it, that 5-compartment compostable.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation and for the food, obviously, beforehand. And anything else that you'd like to add?
We
No,
just
thank
really
you.
would like the opportunity to have your business, and we'll look forward to the next steps, whatever that might be.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So is this now the regular part of the meeting?
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome to stay on for the meeting, or are you going to be voting, or?
Yes, you can. No, we're not voting on this. This presentations were today, so you're welcome to stay.
Have a good evening.
I'm gonna jump back in.
Thank you to everyone for coming early tonight to partake in the food provided for the prospective vendors. I think that was an important part of the choice, obviously, so I appreciate everyone making the effort to get here prior to our meeting. Moving on, item 3 on the agenda is the MSBA high school project update. There's not necessarily too much to update, but I did want to keep everyone informed of where we are. We had our first 2 presentations at PTOs last week. We met with Hyman Fine and Willett. The superintendent did a very well done presentation. That's been well received by everyone I've spoken to, with some robust question and answers after the fact. 3 more this week, the next 3 nights, so please join us as you can. I don't remember the specific schools off the top of my head, but they're 6:30 tomorrow night, 7:05 on Thursday. On Wednesday, excuse me.
Thatcher tomorrow, Hill Roberts Wednesday, and Studley on
Thursday. And so Hill Roberts is on Wednesday, correct? That's 7:05. The other 2 are at 6:30. We today, this morning, got scheduled presentation before the Rotary Club. Their next availability wasn't to August, and the date that works is for September 13th. Is that correct? And so the superintendent and I will certainly plan on being there, and anyone else who can make it is at 12:10 at Bliss Brothers Dairy on Park Street.
What was that date again? I'm sorry.
September 13th, and we'll have more reminders as we get closer, but we did just get that news today.
Thank you.
And the superintendent, I'll speak for him a little bit here, and he can update us if he deems necessary. Met last week with the Principal Rooney with a group of community members about publicizing and advocating for this group going forward.
Yes, we discussed how we're going to hand off certain activities to community members. There are obviously laws in place to that sort of govern what we can and can't do as we move towards a ballot question. So we discussed a bit about that and our plans to give them a chance to organize and take on the part of the process that's appropriate to them. We're going to be inviting representatives from the Office of Campaign Finance from the state down to Attleboro to give a presentation to the community on those rules and help us to understand how to properly execute those efforts.
Thank you. And then just for updates on where we are in the process, the 6 plans at this point have been submitted to the state. The state was due to give us comments. They were a little bit beyond the 30 days that they had.
We have received them.
But we have received them. We received them last week. And superintendent and the Principal Rooney spoke with them today again on the phone. And we have, now it's up to us to respond. And middle of June or end of June, we'll be whittling down our choices to 1. So that's where we are at this time. Anything else you think I should add? Tyler, anything else you think that I should add as SBC rep?
Nope, I was just looking at the comment section today. I think it looks workable. And if you could just touch maybe Superintendent Story a little bit, there was on some of the comment section, on one specific part of it, it seems like they didn't get maybe what we sent them.
Yeah, we were a little bit confused by some of the feedback. They reported back that we hadn't included certain things that they were looking for, but from our perspective, we had. So in the conference call today, we were able to resolve that there were some pages missing from what they had up at the state. So a significant portion of their feedback to us was resolved just by resending them the document.
Right.
Thank you. Mr. Geddes?
2 informative pieces. We talked at Budget and Finance last week. I don't mean to steal Mr. Larson's thunder.
Yep.
I'm not sure if he's going to mention this. But the city's new website is up, and I can't remember now, were we able to determine if the section about the new high school is on there yet?
It is.
Yep.
So it's a great resource for people to look at. Also, George Rhodes had a great piece in the Sun Chronicle last week, I think, or
Sunday.
today?
Sunday.
Sunday, yesterday.
Yesterday.
That details the condition of the current building. So for those that are wondering why we are putting all this effort into considering a brand-new building, there's a great resource there.
Thank you. So that'll be our MSBA high school project update for this week. Item number 4 on the agenda, bi-county collaborative. Superintendent Sawyer. Just the motion and.
Yes,
oh,
I believe annually you need to appoint me to represent you on the board.
So at this point, I will entertain a motion to appoint Superintendent David Sawyer as bi-county collaborative representative for the Attleboro Public School District for the 2017-2018 school year.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
That concludes our business agenda. Next, Ally DeRose with our Student Advisory Council update.
So we do have a few things, thank you. So for the elementary schools, we have Math MCAS for grade 4 on May 9th and May 11th. So that's not back to back. There is a day gap in between for them. And the Math MCAS for the 3rd grade is May 10th and 12th. And then there will be a kindergarten field trip for Thatcher, which is going to be on May 15th. And Hyman finds Briggs to donate is going to be on May 10th. I'm assuming it's fundraiser, probably go to Briggs, and a portion of your bill will be donated to Hyman Fine, whether it's PTO, to the school in general. And then there will be a Read Across Hill Roberts, and it's an evening next week, the week of May 15th, and they welcome guest readers into their school to read to the students. For the middle school, the Math MCAS for grade 6 is going to be May 9th and May 10th, and the Science MCAS for grade 5 is going to be on May 16th and May 17th. And for high school, this Thursday, May 11th, is awards night, and the following Thursday is scholarship night. That's May 18th, and that's for seniors only. May 12th is junior prom, so that's this Friday, and it's at the Taunton Holiday Inn at 6:30. And the AP tests are finishing up this week, thank God. And there will be MCAS for sophomores on May 16th and May 17th. For community engagement, one big thing that's coming up is Special Olympics, and we are, I believe, the Southeastern Regional Special Olympics host. So there are a ton of schools there. The rain date is May 19th, so next Thursday, if it rains next Friday. Everyone come out. It's a great day. It's so much fun. I believe the theme is Under the Sea. So I don't really know what kind of food they're going to have, but last year the food was great. It was circus themed. They had fried dough and everything like that, and it's just such a happy day. So if you can make it by, I know that I think it starts at 8 a.m. or around there. That's when the first wave of kids start coming in, and it goes until the school day ends around 2. So definitely, if you have a chance to stop by, do it. And then there will be an ACEPAC meeting on May 17th.
Yes, Mrs. Gill.
Allie, can you just touch base on your trip that you just came back from, just quickly?
So I went over April break to Spain and Portugal. Mr. Pereira runs the trip, and it is an extremely awesome trip that I've had the privilege to go on for 2 years in a row now. You're on that trip, so we do have a tour guide, and this sweet lady, Nancy, she's been our tour guide for 2 years in a row. And you don't realize that you're learning when you're on the trip, but you learned far more than you would learn in the classroom when you were at a place because you're so much more engaged. I always think to last year when I was at the Coliseum. You read history books about this, that, and the other thing, but you never really, I don't want to say care, because obviously you care, but you find it so much more intriguing when you're actually there and you're standing there and you're like, wow, this was man-made, this is amazing. And the places you go and just the experiences you have, you get a taste into the culture that you just would never get to experience otherwise. And I think that going to Europe and having, such awesome trips, and next year I know that they're having trips to Germany, they're having one to France, Italy, and Barcelona. You're really immersed in the culture, which is something that you won't get in the classroom. So I think it's definitely a learning experience for all students that get to go on the trip in a way that is real life.
And not to mention, I took Spanish 4 this year, so I got to actually practice my Spanish in the native country, which is amazing because when I was there, it made me realize that, oh, I think I want a minor in Spanish now, because you realize that that it's so crucial, especially nowadays, to learn another language, or you kind of realize your passions when you're immersed in a culture that really shows them. So it was an amazing experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ally. Next, we have our minutes from our April 10th, 2017 and April 24th, 2017 meetings. The minutes were circulated in your packets. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda. Motion to accept an honorarium donation in the amount of $250 from Clarion Research, Inc. to Attleboro Public Schools to be used as the superintendent deems appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $1,000 from the Feinstein Foundation to the Studley Gifts donation line.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $2,200 from the Blue Pride Ambassadors Club to Attleboro High School for a Chrome cart purchase.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $25.04 from the Kula Foundation to AHS for general use.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to declare the following non-repairable copiers as surplus. Canon IR 3300 ID number 11395520, model number MPH 47784. Canon IR 3300 ID number 11678179, model number MPH 47770, and Canon IR 3030 ID number ID number 394KL, model number MUF 03122.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the field trip proposal for 45 Attleboro High School students to go to Ireland, Scotland, and England in April 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That concludes the consent agenda. Next, we have our subcommittee reports. Mrs. Scales.
Thank you. At the meeting on May 1st, we continued to make progress on reviewing the items in Section J of the policy book. Under new business, we looked at policy JE and JE Exhibit 1, which deal with student attendance. While the committee agreed with most of what was presented, we asked the administration to confirm the coding, as it did not conform with what Mask has. So we decided to table it to the next meeting. Next, we looked at JEB entrance age. There was much discussion about the difference between what Attleboro Public Schools has versus Mask. It was agreed that due to the needs of the district, we would keep our current version with minor edits to the formatting. At this time, like a motion to approve policy JEB.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we looked at policy JF, residency, and JF Exhibit 1, proof of residency requirements. Both of these were recently updated, so there were no changes at this time. A motion to approve and note the review date for policy JF.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Policy JFA is the enrollment of children of non-resident staff. It was tabled at this time due to several questions raised by the committee, and we will look at it again, hopefully next month. Next was policy JFAA-CTE admissions and its 2 exhibits. These were reviewed by the director of the CTE program, and upon the recommendation of the administration, we do not feel that the exhibits belong in the policy book, as they are just procedural and protocol. So, which one am I on? I have a motion to approve policy JFAA AHS-CTE program.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. You know, what, did I miss? I think I missed one. JF
You won.
E1?
E1.
Okay. A motion to approve and note review date for policy J, Exhibit JFE1.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion to remove policy exhibits JFAAE1 and JFAAE2 from the policy binder.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next, JFABB, admission of exchange students was reviewed and had one minor edit to reflect the current residency policy. Any questions? A motion to approve policy JFABB.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. JFABC, admission of transfer students was reviewed. While there are no updates at this time, the committee did question why this only deals with charter school students. Oh, no, we did okay with that one. Okay, yeah, no, the administration will look into this for us, but at the time, we will approve it. Motion to approve policy JFABC.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Policy JICC, riding on school buses, also known as EEAEC, did not have any changes at this time. It's just a recoding of the policy. Motion to approve and note the review date of policy JICC, also known as EEAEC.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Again, there were no changes to anti-bullying policy JICFB and its exhibits. This was just recently reviewed. So just a motion to approve policy JICFB.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Policy JJA, student organizations, was reviewed and updated to conform with mask. Any questions? Motion to approve policy JJA, student organizations.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I missed another one. Motion to approve policy exhibit JICFB, exhibit 1.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, the committee reviewed policy JJG, extra school sponsored contest and fundraising events. There isn't a mask policy, and because the language is outdated and is procedural, it was determined that this would be removed from the policy book. So a motion to remove policy JJG from the policy binder.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Sorry. Policy JJIB, interscholastic athletics is not a policy that Attleboro Public Schools has, but Mask does. It was the recommendation of the athletic director not to adopt it at this time. The committee did have asked for further clarification, and the administration will get back to us. Policy JJIBA, head injury and concussion, was reviewed and edits were made. It was determined that the proper coding should be JJIF in order to conform with mask. Any questions? A motion to redesignate policy JJIBA to policy JJIF.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Like policy JJIB, the athletic concussion regulations policy JJFR was not recommended by the athletic director. Once again, the committee asked the administration for clarification on this. Lastly, student records policy and exhibits were reviewed and aligned with mask. It was recommended that the exhibit be removed from the binder. We have a motion to approve policy JRA and note the review date.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to remove policy JRAR, student records, from the policy binder.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Lastly, students, no, I just don't. Next, the administration brought forth the proposed job description for the ELL teacher position. The committee liked the description, but asked that it be brought to the lab so that they could review it as well. This is what has happened in the past, and the committee did not want to stray from this procedure. Under the old business, we reviewed policy exhibits IJNDB E1 and E2. Both of these deal with digital use by both students and staff. Any questions or comments? No? Motion to approve policy IJNDB E1.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to approve policy IJNDB E2 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Lastly, Mr. Geddes gave an update to the community On the community survey, we wish to use to help in determining reasons that families do not send their children to the Attleboro Public Schools, and we hope to have this ready to go by the end of the month. And that is my report. The next meeting is on June 19th.
Thank you, Mr. Scales. Next, we have finance and budget. Mr. Larson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Budget Subcommittee did meet May 3rd. But before I get into that, I would just like to note my thank you notes that I received this morning from Ms. Ross's first grade class over at Thatcher. It was a lot of fun reading there a couple weeks ago, and it's always a fun day. Back on May 3rd, Mr. Furtado took us through the monthly financials. We continue to be tracking right on budget at this point. A couple things that we're continuing to watch, but we feel that we should be ending the year okay. After that, we had a high school MSBA update. We talked about where we were and going forward, how we're going to continue to update the community with the process that we're going forward. We had a number of motions that we have every year at this time due to some one-year renewals. And Mr. Furtado, if you could come up to the table in case there's other questions, I'd appreciate it. But the first motion is motion to authorize the finance director to undertake any necessary budget transfers to meet the financial obligations of the district to close out the FY17 budget year.
So moved.
Second?
The only comment I would have here is that Mr. Furtado and his team have to basically zero out hundreds of accounts and to do this in an expedited way at the end of June so that we can get the books closed to City Hall in a timely manner. This is an annual authorization that we do give him. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next is in keeping with the guidelines set forth by the United States Agricultural Department, we periodically have to make adjustments to the costs of lunches in the district. What I'd like to do is make the motion, and then we'll have a discussion about it, and I'll ask Mr. Furtado to add to the discussion. But first, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve an increase of 15 cents at the elementary, middle, and high school levels for the next school year.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Furtado, could you just take the committee through the mathematics of this, please?
Sure. We have to annually establish the cost spread between the reimbursements we receive from the federal government for school lunch and the price we charge. The purpose of the exercise is to assure the federal government that their reimbursement is not being used to subsidize regular school lunches. So there's a required spread between the reimbursement and what we charge retail. So for next year, we are required, based on that, maintaining that spread, to increase school lunch prices. And we had a discussion at the subcommittee level as to whether to focus that increase at one or two academic levels in the district or across the board, and the subcommittee felt strongly that across the board was the appropriate way to go. So that is the minimum increase necessary to meet the federal guidelines to maintain that spread between the reimbursement and the cost of school lunch.
And I guess before I open up to the rest of the discussion, I think this is the first increase we've had in approximately 3 years.
Yes. Yep.
Questions?
It's more a comment. I just think it's important to note that Mr. Furtado hit on it, is that this isn't a budgetary move by any means. It doesn't have an impact on our budget. It's strictly to comply with federal guidelines.
Other questions? Mr. Storrs?
From what Mr. Furtado just said, could you speak for the committee as to the thought process why it would be more beneficial to be district-wide rather than at, as he had indicated, a couple of school?
One of the other options that we talked about at the subcommittee level was, instead of doing 15 cents across each of the 3 levels, I think it worked out that we would have to do 25 cents at the high school, 25 cents at the middle school, and then we could keep the elementary school level at zero. And the thought at the committee level was just to make it an even spread across the three levels. But, you know, if the full committee decides it wants to do something different, that's certainly the full committee's choice.
No,
We-
that clarifies
from
things. Thank you.
Conversation that we had at the subcommittee, we thought that this was best for everyone involved. Like,
Thank you. I'm going to vote no on this, just so you know, but it's nothing against the administration. I just don't believe that the federal government should be able to tell us what we have to charge for our school lunches. I mean, that's ours. I'm sorry. You know, we're not trying to make an overall profit here. We're trying to make sure we have enough money in the account to, if we have a breakdown of machinery or something like that. But I'm just totally against the federal government telling us how much we have to charge for our lunches.
For the committee's benefit, just so you know, that by not meeting that spread requirement, we could forfeit reimbursement for free lunch.
Don't worry, I'll be the only one voting no.
I just want to understand, there are consequences to doing it.
other questions? Mr. Stewart?
Can you just speak to how much money the district receives for the free and reduced lunch?
Sure, it's $1 million. It's money.
So you're gonna vote against $1 million?
Or 15 cents. I'd vote more of that than more.
Any other questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-1, motion passes. You should be less painful. We have a number of annual contracts that we just need to re-ratify for the next year. First, motion to approve the approved Abacus contract, which would remain the status quo for the 2017-2018 school year.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Abstain.
All right. Next, that motion passed. Motion to approve the BICO contract, which will also remain status quo for a month-to-month contract beginning July 1st, 2017.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yes, please.
Mr. Storrs?
So, I understand that contract normally goes from September to June 30th, so how's it gonna be month to month starting in July? Since the contract usually starts in September.
It is a September contract. That was my error. But right now, BICO expects to move out in August.
Right.
That may not happen. So they've asked us to consider, beyond the expiration of the current contract, the same terms on a month-to-month basis, in the event that they're
Excluding the 90,000, et cetera, over 12 months or 10 months?
They pay through the.
It's September through June 30th is my understanding of the contract. Am I wrong?
I thought they paid through the summer. They have programs.
Oh, they may pay through the summer. I just know the contract is written September to June 30th.
Well, if that would be the case, it would be, because they're not gonna be staying, much beyond a month or two.
Right. Okay, so the expectation would be, it would be a month to month from September.
Based on the current contract terms, yep.
Okay. And will there be a memorandum of agreement to that effect?
Yes.
Okay.
That they would sign.
Thank you.
Other questions or concerns? All right, so it is for September 1st?
We can verify.
I believe we have a copy
We
of
have the
it.
right contract right here.
I didn't check the.
BICO. It says,
September 1st to June 30th.
Okay.
September
This
1st, yeah.
new arrangement would be effective September 1st, 2017.
Okay.
And for each month would constitute 1/10 of the total current payment to the district.
If the current contract ends June 30th, shouldn't the new contract begin July 1?
I've always
Because
questioned that.
otherwise it'll expire.
I would check, I'll have to check to see where they're gonna start their program.
What is
The only, my understanding is the only way they would need what we're proposing tonight is if there is a delay in their construction of their new facility.
Yeah, I've always questioned that, that it's not an annual, I mean, it's an annual contract, but it specifies September to June. So I always thought it was weird that it doesn't specify the summer, but they don't use it during the summer, is my understanding.
even though we don't use it as well, the
We do
facility,
not use
right?
it.
All right, so the motion in front of us is to approve a month-to-month contract with BICO effectively starting September 1st, 2017.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. If for some reason we have to revisit that, we will. Next, motion to approve the Bluefish contract, which will also remain status quo for the 2017-2018 school year.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to approve the Bishop Fien contract, which will also remain status quo for the 2017-2018 school year.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to approve the Smarts Summer Program contract, which will remain status quo for the 2017-2018 school year.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Motion passes. Motion to approve the Smarts regular program contract, which will remain status quo for the 2017-2018 school year.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Motion passes.
That next smarts one is just repetitive of the first one.
I'm sorry?
That next smarts motion is a repeat of the first one. It's not needed.
Okay. And then lastly, motion to approve the creation of the Abacus Wraparound Care Program and proposed rates for the 2017-2018 school year.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, we had several questions at the subcommittee level. We've got answers to those?
I haven't gotten answers to those yet, no.
I don't recall the questions. I'm sorry.
Rob had, Mr. Geddes had some. I had one regarding, when they say it's for the ELC, do they mean it's for everybody in the ELC? There are no exceptions to the rules?
That's my perception.
Yeah, Rob?
Now I'm drawing. a
I know,
blank
I
on my
forget what your
questions.
question was, too.
I believe we had, Ms. Sawyer was also at the meeting. I think she had questions related to staffing, but I don't remember exactly what they were.
Okay.
Well, we can certainly get the answers to the questions, and
Yep.
we can look back and see what the questions were.
Okay.
Any other concerns or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. That concludes our subcommittee reports. Next, open forum. Is there anyone here who would like to address the school committee at open forum? All right, that'll close open forum. Next, I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session. The Attleboro School Committee will convene an executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2 and 3, to discuss strategy with respect to negotiations with union personnel and to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining. As an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the school committee, the school committee will not reconvene in open session.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Storrs?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Tyler?
Yes.
Mr. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Withers, yes. Mr. Scales? Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Geddes?
Yes.
All right, we will take a 2-minute recess and reconvene in executive session.